to get a promotion. Could interfere with that person's ability to make the next sale. This is why there are some places that humor of this nature just does not work.
And what is the third rule of humor in relationships?
Humor in relationships, third rule, you never do anything to destroy another person's property as part of a joke. An example of this is somebody is baking a cake, and as a joke, you're going to put in an ingredient into the cake to spoil the cake. Well, okay, it's funny, it's a joke, somebody bites into it, and they look silly for having served it and whatnot. Yeah, it's really funny, it's really great. That cake is a form of property, and when you ruin somebody's property, the joke is on you, because that means that that person can't trust you anymore. If you're willing to destroy a person's property, whether it's a cake that is replaceable for $20 or $30, or whether it's the person's vehicle, you don't mess with a person's property. The fact that you would even think of doing that is the real threat. And that's what you become when you don't know how to use humor properly. You become a threat. On television, you can continue having a TV show for years. In real life, you're going to lose a lot of friends. Why? Because that's creepy.
It's creepy. Another hit TV show was Roseanne. Can you talk about Roseanne and her particular humor?
Okay, in a TV show like Roseanne, which I have to say I also watched as well. As a kid, I would love the snarky comments back and forth. Darlene was one of my most favorite characters because she just knew what to say, to be insulting, to be mean, and as a kid you feel, oh yeah, that was good, oh yeah, she really got her. And you have the couple that are constantly, being snarky back and forth. Once again, on television, that's great. In real life, when the couple is happy and when you're both doing well, snarky insults back and forth can be fun temporarily. But on a constant basis, especially when you're having a bad day, maybe it's just one of those days where everything is going wrong, the last thing you need to hear is your partner making a snarky comment or insult about you in that moment. The fact is, human beings have insecurities. There's going to be days when there's going to be days when you're not going to feel that attractive. You're noticing that your partner is getting attention from other people. You feel, oh, well, I'm not really feeling like myself today. And those constant little insults, those little jokes going on and on, those are the things that over time will build resentment. Because it's just a joke, and you can't really, you're being too sensitive if you're getting mad about that. Well, no, there are certain boundaries. You don't emulate TV in your real-life relationships. TV is a fictional la-la land. You could have people in horrible situations that are going to stay together. Why? It's TV. It's being written. It's fictional. In real life, if you're constantly being insulted, even as a joke, that is going to affect you on some level. Look at children who grow up in an environment where their friends are constantly badgering them. Yeah, it's a joke and everybody does it. They end up developing self-esteem issues. Why? Because the things that are constantly said as a joke, the subconscious doesn't see it as a joke. The subconscious says, oh, well, if all my friends are telling me this, they start to adopt those same behaviors. If all of your friends growing up are calling you, yeah, you're the dumb one of the group, you take on that identity and you become the dumb one, even if you're the most intelligent one of the group. That's why with humor, you never hurt a person's reputation. You don't interfere with their ability to make a living. You don't destroy their property. TV shows like Drew Carey and Roseanne are just that. They're TV shows. They're forms of entertainment.
They're also forms of escapism, aren't they?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said they're also forms of escapism. I mean,
absolutely.
You have your own daily life. But when you watch these shows, you get a really good laugh out of it, and sometimes it's good for you.
Of course, everybody needs a break. We've all got heartbreak stories, and everybody needs a break from real life. Sometimes life sucks. That's one of my base life philosophies. You could do everything right. Sometimes life will still suck, and humor is a great way to relieve some of that stress and pressure. And yes, it is a form of escapism. What happens, though, when a person's form of escapism becomes the example that they want to follow up with? That's where it becomes destructive.
Okay. So what types of humor works best in relationships?
In my experience, the safest and the best type of humor that works in relationships is when you say one thing while doing the exact opposite in the moment. That's what makes it funny. So, for example, you're hugging your partner, and your partner says, "Do you love me?" You bring her in closer, you squeeze her tighter, you start kissing her neck, but at the same time you're saying, "No, I can't stand you, I don't even want to touch you, why are you even here?" And you just go on with that type of words while the rest of you, your eyes, your lips, your hands, your body, all of that is saying, "I love you." The opposite element in there is what makes that funny. Because you know that it's just a joke. You know the person really does love you, but they're saying, "No, that ain't gonna happen."
You look at some couples, though, and it just seems like they don't have any humor in their relationship. So is a sense of humor necessary for a long-term relationship to succeed?
No, it's not. Look, there are some couples, and I always picture the old crotchety couple, they've been together for like 50 years, and, they don't laugh at all. They just follow a certain little routine. They're still together, and you think, oh, they don't have any passion, they don't have any romance, and maybe they don't, but they've got an obligation to their commitment, which has kept them together. Now, is humor absolutely necessary for long-term relationships? No. There are people who don't have humor and still manage long-term relationships because there's other things in place that, like an obligation to commitment. You have those things in place, you don't need humor. However, having a sense of humor can make the process and the journey more enjoyable.
Well, I would think. Is a relationship with humor a better relationship?
No, because if, let's say, humor is the most prominent component in your relationship, if that's all you have, well, no, it takes more than love to make a relationship work, and thus it takes a hell of a lot more than humor. So a relationship with humor is a good relationship if you have other things there supporting it. A relationship where it's predominantly a humor-based relationship turns into a sexless friendship. Clowns don't get sex. Clowns are not sexy.
Well, how do you know?
I was a clown.
Okay, you were a clown.
Listen, when I was a little kid, I liked getting attention and I liked making people laugh. So I would read joke books and I would go up to all my older cousins and say, "Want to hear a joke? Want to hear a joke? Knock, knock. Who's there?" And then I would go into that little routine. And that's how all of my older cousins view me, as that little kid who was going around saying, "Want to hear a joke?" When I became a teenager, humor was something I liked to use. I could make people laugh. I could make people feel good. I didn't get a date. I was alone. I was a virgin. If humor is all you have, you will lead a very lonely life. Humor is a good balancing act when, let's say, you do the right things. Let's say you address the right emotional needs. You're properly dominant. You protect someone's reputation. You make a girl feel safe. You express that you can handle her sexuality. And you have a good sense of humor. The sense of humor is what makes you attainable. When a woman says, "I want a guy with a great sense of humor," what she means is, I want a guy who's got a lot of great qualities that's going to make me fall in love with him, and a sense of humor on top of that is really great. But try it out. Just look at women who are dating guys whose predominant characteristic is they got a great sense of humor. They don't feel attraction. One of the reasons why some guys end up what I call emotional cookie men, that friend that you call up at 3 o'clock in the morning to, complain about your boyfriend?
He's a cookie man?
He's, in my terminology, we call him emotional cookie man.
Emotional cookie man.
Basically, you give him the cookie of attention, but not the sex.
Okay.
Why do you do that? It's because chances are he's a good friend, he makes you laugh, but you don't feel anything sexual towards him. Humor alone is not enough to make a relationship work. Humor on top of other things will help make a relationship smoother.
Can someone learn to develop to have a sense of humor? And if so, how?
Okay, well, the first thing you got to figure out is what makes you laugh. The second thing you have to figure out is what type of woman do you like and what makes that type of woman laugh.